Iran has just played its final card. In a desperate attempt to choke the world's oil lifeline, Tehran mined the Strait of Hormuz, and for a moment, the plan worked. Ships stopped. Markets shook. But then, Washington struck back. A brutal storm of air power tore across the skies as A-10 Warthogs opened fire. Within hours, Iran's plan began to collapse. And what happened next may change the fate of Hormuz forever. The U.S. military quickly realized that air operations alone would not be enough to secure the Strait of Hormuz. In a surprising tactical shift, Washington responded directly from the surface of the sea. Unmanned drone boats were deployed to patrol the waterway, opening a new front in the operation and catching Iran off guard. This marked the beginning of an asymmetric response designed to counter threats at close range. These autonomous speedboats were built for long-range surveillance and early warning missions. Capable of operating for extended hours across the Gulf, they monitored suspicious movements and tracked fast attack threats in real time. After facing criticism for its slow initial response, the U.S. had finally begun to match Iran's tactics with its own technology. And as this silent shield tightened across the sea, the tension continued to rise because the far more decisive strike was about to come from the sky. As the crisis reached a critical turning point, Washington moved toward its most decisive step yet. A final order was issued to restore full access through the Strait of Hormuz, and what followed became one of the most extensive air operations in recent memory. This was no longer just a regional confrontation. The stability of global energy routes was now at stake. Along the Iranian coastline, an uneasy silence settled in. But behind that silence, U.S. bombers were already moving toward some of the most heavily fortified underground military sites in the region. Deep inside mountain slopes, missile silos and weapons depots had been built and reinforced over decades. These were targets designed to survive conventional strikes. That night, a new weapon entered the battlefield. The GBU-72, a next-generation bunker-penetrating bomb, was deployed against hardened underground targets across the northern side of the strait. Guided with extreme precision, it was built to cut through layers of soil, concrete, and rock before detonating deep inside. One strike after another hit missile storage caves, radar support points, and mobile launch infrastructure. Within hours, underground facilities that had taken decades to build began collapsing from within. The pressure wave tore through reinforced chambers, leaving entire sections reduced to rubble. By morning, Iran's ability to threaten shipping routes through Hormuz had been significantly weakened, setting the stage for an even more powerful phase to come. By the next morning, the battlefield had already changed. According to official assessments, Iran's missile reserves had been dramatically reduced, and key naval assets were no longer able to operate effectively. What had happened overnight was more than a strike, it marked a major shift in the balance of the crisis. But despite the damage underground, the danger had not disappeared. The waters of Hormuz still held fast-moving threats on the surface. Small, agile, and highly dangerous, these vessels remained capable of disrupting shipping routes. Just 2 days later, Washington moved into the second phase of the operation. This time, the focus shifted to the sky once again, but with a very different purpose. The A-10 Thunderbolt II, widely known as the Warthog, was brought into the operation to counter fast-moving surface threats. Its ability to fly low and remain over the target area for extended periods made it ideally suited for this mission. Working alongside Apache helicopters, it monitored the strait, tracked rapid coastal movements, and responded instantly to emerging risks. The combination of persistent air presence and precision response began to dismantle the swarm-style tactics that had previously disrupted maritime traffic. As these aircraft dominated the skies above Hormuz, mine-clearing operations below became significantly safer. This marked the second major turning point in the effort to restore safe passage through the strait. But the operation did not stop at disabling equipment and surface threats. The real turning point came when the command structure itself was hit. In a critical overnight development, regional officials confirmed that a senior naval commander linked to the Strait crisis had been removed from the battlefield. This was far more than a tactical setback. It directly impacted coordination, planning, and the ability to manage further operations in the area. With leadership disrupted, the balance in the strait shifted even further. This development also helps explain why A-10S and Apache helicopters were able to maintain extended control over the airspace and surrounding waters. As the pressure intensified, the operation was no longer just about reopening a route. It had become a decisive struggle over control, timing, and strategic momentum. And the next phase was about to push the crisis to an even higher level. After the two-phase strikes, the balance in Hormuz shifted dramatically. Underground storage sites had already been neutralized, while fast-moving surface threats were steadily pushed back. But this turning point was not the result of a single night. Behind it was a sustained campaign that had been building for weeks. Long-range bombers, stealth platforms, and heavy strike aircraft had been operating in carefully coordinated waves, applying continuous pressure across key strategic zones. What the world was seeing now was the visible outcome of a much larger operation that had been unfolding in the background. The real objective was clear: dismantle the entire blockade network. Missile depots, launch infrastructure, drone support facilities, and coastal surveillance systems were all gradually taken offline. Every layer of the Strait's defense architecture began to weaken. Stockpiles were reduced, radar coverage narrowed, and mobile launch systems became increasingly vulnerable. What had once been a carefully built maritime pressure strategy was now beginning to collapse under sustained air dominance. This was not just a tactical success. It marked one of the most significant blows ever dealt to the long-standing blockade doctrine surrounding Hormuz. So what remains after weeks of pressure? Much of the underground infrastructure, launch systems, and coastal surveillance network has already been taken out. The blockade framework that once threatened Hormuz has been severely weakened. But the story is far from over. Beyond the visible damage, economic pressure and selective passage control still continue to cast a shadow over the strait. The greater concern now lies in what cannot be easily seen: hidden launch units, remaining drone reserves, and especially naval mines still pose a serious challenge. Clearing the waterway could take weeks, and low-cost asymmetric assets continue to preserve Iran's ability to create uncertainty. The conventional threat may have been reduced, but the risk has not disappeared. If anything, the next phase may become even more unpredictable. For now, the broader picture appears increasingly positive. The two-phase air campaign has significantly reduced the immediate risks facing vessels moving through Hormuz. Missile reserves, drone launch capability, and key support infrastructure have all been heavily degraded. The strait may not be fully secure yet, but the system that once held it under pressure has clearly been fractured. Momentum is beginning to shift. Traffic is slowly returning, and the upward trend is becoming harder to ignore. More vessels are beginning to re-enter the route, suggesting that confidence is gradually being restored. Still, the numbers remain below normal levels, which raises the bigger question. Is full normalization of the strait truly within reach, or is another phase of uncertainty still ahead? But the next question is even bigger: can full stability truly return? To answer that, attention now shifts beyond Washington. The response is no longer coming from one country alone. A growing coalition of allies has begun moving into position, signaling that the Strait of Hormuz is now a matter of global strategic concern. What began as diplomatic coordination is rapidly evolving into operational planning, with multiple nations preparing to support safe maritime passage. At the center of this next phase is advanced mine-clearing technology. Autonomous surface drones and remote detection systems are being prepared to locate and neutralize hidden underwater threats from a safe distance. This marks a critical shift in strategy. While air operations have reduced visible threats above the surface, Allied technology is now focused on the invisible risks below. The next battle may no longer be fought in the skies, but beneath the waterline. What do you think? Did America permanently break Iran's blockade strategy? Or could Tehran still fight back using asymmetric tactics? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy military conflict analysis, breaking geopolitical developments, and strategic warfare breakdowns, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the next move in Hormuz could change everything. Thank you for watching.